Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Jaina.
And I'm Naya. And this is Mommy. And on behalf of Auntie Di,
we want to welcome you to Season 2 of Girl We Need to Talk.
Yes. I'm Nellie. I'm Di, aka Charity's middle sister. And on the last season of Girl We Need to Talk, we featured women who were working through their grief. I was featured in episode 2 where me, Di, and Libby, my sisters, talked about how we felt in coping with the death of our father. And since then, I've grown a lot. And what we realized is that our healing never ends. And so recently, my husband and I, this past July, were very, very blessed with our first son and baby boy, Nathaniel Lamar Jennings, the second, aka Baby Nady. This season of Girl We Need to Talk, we're talking about growing through our grief. So sit back and relax, and we really appreciate you for joining us.
Peace, and welcome to Season 2 of Girl We Need to Talk. My name is Kiara Boyd. I am a local Phoenician yoga instructor, Reiki healer, sound healer, life coach, and soon to be massage therapist. I want to welcome you all to Season 2 with a little bit of centering and grounding and a little bit of mindfulness, a couple of things to bring to your awareness that regard this season, a couple of our themes. But first, take a moment to soften into your eyes. Take a deep inhalation in and deep exhale out. Let's do that a few more times. Deep inhale in. Deep exhale out. And one more together, make this the fullest breath you've taken. Inhale. Hold the breath. Exhale. Let it go, sis. Season 2. We're honoring the movements through life of grief, of hardship. I want you to take a moment to think about a time where maybe you were unsure if you would make it through. Maybe a really difficult or challenging season in your life. Maybe you're there right now. I want you to take a deep breath into that and exhale to let it go. Take another deep breath into your body, into who you are today, and exhale, letting everything from the past go. I want you to think about that time, that difficult season, maybe a struggle financially, emotionally, romantically, spiritually. And think about those hardships and how they've brought you to become the woman, the person that you are sitting there today. Really honoring the things that have strengthened you, the things that have brought you here, aligned with us all in this moment. Now take another deep breath. Exhale. And let yourself sit with the vibrations of the sound bowls, letting it clear away any stagnant energy, letting it clear away anything that doesn't serve you. One more full breath in. Full breath out to receive.
You hear me? All righty. Hey, so good to see all of your beautiful faces. Good morning, good afternoon, depending on where you are logging in from. Welcome to the launch party for season 2 of Girl We Need to Talk. And this has only been made possible because of all of you. Season 1 was such a success because we shared our stories of grief and you shared your hearts with us as well. So many of you joined the conversation, shared the links, subscribed to my YouTube channel, and you tuned in weekly when we did our different segments of How's Your Heart on Instagram. And so here we are for season 2 with an incredible team of women standing with us. So first of all, I would like to say thank you to our sponsors. We partnered with some amazing Black women who own their businesses and own their lives. And I appreciate all of them just like I appreciate all of you. So we have Muse, Tease, Kouassi Kustoms, Social Roots LLC, MHO Beauty, and Words Well Said LLC. Now, these ladies have given us some products that we will in turn gift to some of you, our participants. So up first, our first giveaway goes to Christy Galindez. She was our first registrant. So when the call went out, boop, she hit that link and she was the first person to register for the launch party. So congratulations, Christy, and thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. That said, all of you will have a chance to win prizes from our partners through your participation. So I see the chat lighting up here. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. But also, there will be a portion of the party where we'll ask for your feedback and we want to hear from you. We want to hear your story. So you can hit the chat, but you can also raise your hand and then you will be added to the platform to be a part of the conversation when we get there. So we will also be doing the giveaways based on participation. And at the end, we have a wheel. We'll spin it. Everybody's name went into it. And that gift will be from Social Roots. There's a self-care box that they put together featuring a whole lot of other women in business. And so it's a really, really great gift. That said, Christy will win 2 prints from Muse Tease Prints. And Muse puts together some really beautiful digital artwork. And so Christy, hang those up in your office, in your home. They're inspirational. And yeah, let's talk season 2. Season 2 is more so about growing through the grief. All of the women featured are battle tested, to say the least. They share their incredible stories of love, life, grief, and how they bounced back. Take a look. Oh my goodness, I cannot believe we're launching another season of Girl We Need to Talk. During season 1, we shared so many stories of love, life, loss, and grief. Season 1 was more so about my story as I tried to navigate this new normal without my dad. You heard from some of my closest friends who were able to take the journey with me. But in season 2, you are going to meet some incredible women who have faced some very tough situations and they're still standing. Girl, we need to talk trailer. Okay, here we go. 3, 2, 1.
Just amazing, that power of just hearing from other women, even if you don't even really know them.
Everyone always talks about snapback, right? As a mom, like, girl, I want to snap back. Like, I'm trying to snap back. But I stopped saying that because I don't believe in going backwards.
I think that sometimes we reduce God to our own version of who we think he is. And so that's why it's hard for people to hear. God can take me being mad at him.
One thing I had to realize is that his life ended and mine didn't.
Some people call it the strong Black woman syndrome.
I ain't strong no more. I'm done being strong. Come save me. I promise, after you hear their stories, you will understand that you too can make it and you will be okay. Your trauma does not define you, and these ladies are going to show you just that. They are living proof that we are not what we've been through.
Girl, we need to talk.
Right? Yeah. That's why we're here. And we are going to talk about it. We talk about all of it. And if you watch season 1, you know that nothing is off limits. It's a vulnerable space, it's a transparent space, and we just let it all out. Now, I did forget to let you know that you should be following us on Twitter, Instagram, and please, 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 please make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel, because that's where you're going to find all of your updates. Also, please feel free to share bits and pieces from the launch party on Instagram. Y'all know how it works. Tag away. We love to see it. That said, though, for season 2, we have implemented some other elements to the show. We started a segment called the After Session, and it's really an honor to present this asset to the show because this incredible young woman is an asset to my life. She is my cousin, but outside of that, she's my friend, confidant, and licensed therapist. And so after each session, we sit down and we talk about the episode, and we get into the nitty-gritty of all of it. And because she is a therapist, she's able to help us process what we heard and how we heard it and how we should navigate the space. So that said, I would like to introduce you to licensed therapist Aurelia Anderson Thompson. Again, my friend, confidant, and cousin. Welcome, Aurelia.
Hi, everyone. Good morning to the West Coast. Good afternoon to everybody else. No, I think West Coast are the only ones who are still morning, but I could be wrong. Maybe Mountain. I'm not sure. I get it wrong sometimes. Thank you so much, Charity Bailey and Girl We Need to Talk, for inviting me in your space. It's an honor for me because it's such a sacred space, and I know that you family is everything, but you wouldn't just have me on just because of family connection. But I am, like you said, I am a licensed marriage and family therapist associate. I am an ordained minister. I am a clinically trained chaplain, and I serve currently in North Carolina. And I was excited when you mentioned to me that you were adding this part of the show, because sometimes we do have questions after the show, right? It's jam packed with a lot of emotionally triggered situations. And for some of us, we're like, I connect with that. And so we're Googling and we're looking up, we're going to TikTok for some of our information. No slight there. But it's like to have someone who may know just a little bit more information in general. And so one thing that you'll probably see on every show is that, no, this is not a therapy session. This is not a counseling session. If you are experiencing any sort of mental health crisis, there will be information, listed on each episode, and even here today. But just some general information that I like to just provide and to help us navigate a little bit more some of these reproductive concerns that some of us women have. And you'll see in the show, I have my own experience. As I say, all the things. And so thank you again, Charity, for inviting me.
Yes, and thank you for joining me. You have experienced all the things, and you are a very open person. You tell your story well, and you help guide other people in telling their story and healing. And so thank you, thank you, thank you. This portion of the party is interactive. So we're going to talk to Aurelia, and I'm going to open it up to all of you as well. So there's a hand raise feature there in the chat. And when we call on you, I would love for you to share. This is a safe space. Like she said, it is not a therapy session. We encourage you to continue to seek counseling and therapy as you see fit. But also, join in the discussion. And again, the big part of the reason we created Girl We Need to Talk is so that we have the space to lean in and lean on each other. I cannot say it enough. You are not alone. So to Aurelia's point, we talk reproductive conditions. We talk postpartum depression. We talk suicide awareness and prevention. We talk about all of it in season 2. So let's jump right in. First up, we have Danielle Lerner, who is an anchor here in Phoenix. And she is waiting on baby number 3, like any day now. I think baby number 3 is on the clock. But she's very candid and open about her struggles with postpartum depression, especially after her firstborn, and how that played a role in her life and impacted her marriage. Support is key. So what role did your husband play in all of this? And how did all of this impact him and your relationship and your household and all of it?
Yeah, so I'm biased, but my husband, he's amazing. He is just our rock. And so I'll be honest though, in the beginning, after Harper was born and I started not wanting to get up for feedings and not wanting to do a lot with her, he was really frustrated because he's looking at it as I'm working full time still. You're on maternity leave. Why am I doing all of this? And at the time, it still didn't register to either of us that something more would be wrong. So it created some tension, like on top of the tension that already exists when you bring a newborn into your house. Once I started having panic attacks, the first, I'd never had a panic attack before, and the first time it happens, 2 a.m. in our bed, and we thought I was having a heart attack. And so he was going to take me to the ER, but I didn't want to bring my babies to the ER at 2 o'clock in the morning. And that's when he realized, okay, something is wrong here.
So postpartum depression can impact the marriage, the relationship. How does a couple survive it? Because it can get wild.
Yeah, and without going into the biology of postpartum, just know that when a woman delivers, her hormones are here and they go huge drop, huge, crash for lack of better words. And so I like Susan Johnson. She's the founder of Emotionally Focused Therapy. And what she does with couples is that she believes if we can reestablish the connection, the bond with the couple, we can help them have a stronger relationship and better communication. Mm. So what I say for couples who are in that postpartum period, stay connected, stay together, just stay, just sit tight. She has a book called Hold Me Tight. It is for couples. It's not for clinicians. It's for couples. Stay together. Just sit. Just stay. Don't leave. Just stay. And it's the reconnection. It will come when you do the work.
Well, some women have mentioned that they created a plan. We put out a poll prior to taping her episode, and we asked women, because everybody doesn't experience it, and then everybody doesn't experience it the same, which is what I'm learning, because clearly I have not had children. Based on my relationships with my friends who do have children, it impacts everybody so differently. So what does that plan look like? And I mean, can you really plan for it?
Believe it or not, you can. I read an article in the Oprah magazine about
Oprah be knowing, child.
You said what? What you say?
Oprah be knowing, child.
Girl, listen, no kids, but seriously, I love her. I love my mom. But seriously, in that art, there was an article literally about this, Charity. We pack the baby bag, we get ready for the hospital visit, baby coming, but do we prepare and plan for us as a couple? And even if you're a solo mama, I like to say solo mama, because we're not single, we're solo. You still have people who you will be connected with. So create a plan of, okay, this may happen in postpartum. This may happen. Let's pay attention to the signs. Stay close to me. Stay connected. Stay tight. So yes, you can plan. We plan for the baby to come, but let's plan for changes that may occur, and not only in my body, but in our relationship, and any of my relationships that I may have.
No, we have several women here in the room who have, first of all, who are mothers, but who have given birth. Would anybody like to share their experiences with postpartum depression? Did you have a plan? Did the plan work? Did you not have a plan and things exploded? Or did you not experience it in the way, the extreme ways that other people do, and yours was smooth sailing? The floor is open. Reaching out. I want to encourage anyone who is feeling like Nana or any of the other women in the space. Seek support from your village, from your community, your aunties. Tap on us. Therapist, lean in. And also know that your fellows are trying to figure it out too, because most of them have never heard about any of this until it happens. So thank you so much, Nana, for sharing. I appreciate it. So, Anna, this is a hot topic, y'all. So like I said, we're going to have to take this one to social after it airs, because my goodness, the chat is all lit up. I see Tawana there. Carly is there. But I do want to showcase our next clip, which features Sasha Simmons. And Sasha is one of my dear friends as well. She's an incredible woman, a speaker, a public figure like Danielle. And she shared her story of fibroids. And so many women, especially Black women and women of color, deal with reproductive conditions. But she shares that strangers thought that she was pregnant. And she talked about how it affected her. When people saw you, how did they respond?
Yeah, so a lot of people thought I was pregnant, right? People will say, congratulations. I've had strangers come up to me and congratulate me. And I'll never forget probably one of the most jarring moments. I was about to go on stage for a speaking engagement, and another speaker behind stage, literally as they're calling my name, she's like, oh my gosh, congratulations. I didn't know you were expected. And they're like, Sasha Simmons, coming to the stage. And my energy, it just completely altered how I delivered that speech, because if you're not pregnant, you don't want to present as pregnant, right? And especially if you're having challenges with fertility, if you have those issues and people think that you are. So yeah, a lot of people think that, I am pregnant, or I was pregnant at the time. And that was really, really hard. I didn't suffer with those type of body issues prior to having fibroids, but that was really hard for me. And it made me not want to date. It made me not want to share my body with anybody or even talk about what I was going through. I was really, really quiet about it.
Aurelia. First of all, y'all know that we are in our respective places running all of this through Zoom. So any technical difficulties and technical issues, just have a little grace for your girl and the team, okay? Her video was freezing a little bit, but the point is clear. Mind your own body. I don't understand what is so hard about that, first of all. Don't walk up to another woman and ask her if she's pregnant, if she has not told you that she is. We all go through so many issues with our bodies. And we had an episode last season called Battling My Body. And this one is right on track with that. Last year was about weight loss. This year is more so about fibroids. But so many women of color, specifically Black women, deal with fibroids. We deal with PCOS. We deal with endometriosis at higher rates than everybody else. I've been very open in the fact that I experienced a menstrual cycle for 5 weeks and later found out. My OB didn't know. I had to go to a naturopath and found out that I had a fibroid on the outside of my uterus, and that our bodies are so intuitive that she was like, yeah, I don't need that. So she was like, I'm shedding it. And that's why I was on my menstrual cycle for 5 weeks. But it impacts us in ways that I don't think that we understand, or that other women understand either.
I like that. Mind your own body. Like, we talk about mind your own business. Mind your own body. In these COVID times, it's all about our bodies and our space, and respect what I do. And I don't care how you feel about politics and all the things. Mind your own body. Let a woman deal with her own body as she sees fit. Now, of course, I'm sure someone like me, for example, with a small frame and a big tummy, I'm sure people probably think that I'm pregnant. Um, but don't dare say anything to me because you just don't know. You don't know. I could be pregnant and I could have maybe been carrying twins and then lost one. And then my belly is smaller than it's supposed to be. I mean, we don't know, right? So I like that. Mind your own body. We're copywriting it right now. It is Charity Bailey. It is
No. I heard that from somewhere else.
Oh, did you? Oh, okay.
And I was like, that is good. And I think it was during the time I was going through my own struggles. I want to say
we need all the t-shirts and all the things.
But I was just like, it's true. Mind your own body. Carly says here in the chat, don't say, are you expecting twins? Because even if you are pregnant, she says, I don't think any woman, even those expecting twins, wants to hear from a stranger that they look like they are.
Well, and then we just don't know. And I know that we aren't responsible for how we trigger someone else, but it's just that universal kindness. Just universal kindness. Minding your own body, what it can do for us. Also, yes, ladies, we need to mind our own body. We need to know who we are. It's all about identity. Know who we are, know what we like, what we need, what keeps us healthy, what our body rejects, and don't go there anymore. Don't do that anymore. Minding our own bodies. One thing about fibroids, endometriosis, all things reproductive, and all those nasty foreign little objects in our uterus that are just absolutely gross and disgusting. We don't know too much about it, and if they're small, it won't get seen until you get it. So it's one of those issues. Once again, women of color, we need more education on reproductive issues. We talk about reproductive rights, but let's talk about reproductive health.
Yeah, that's good. And Sasha has gone on her own journey to help heal her body, and she discusses it in great detail in her episode.
I can't wait.
Sasha's been very open about it, but that's the thing. Like, as a television host, I had people messaging me about my weight at the time, and I'm like, my producer Myra is in here, Christiane, some of my other, Shannon is here, I see you guys here. They knew what was going on with my body. And then you have these randos on social media, Charity looks like a whale. So one day I was like, you know what, to hell with this, I'm responding. I try not to respond, but today I'm responding because you got me beat up. I was like,
social media does that.
With this.
Social media does that. It makes people think that they have permission to check you about you. You weren't even addressing them, right?
I checked them, yes.
Well, it's important. It's important that we tell people, mind your own body. And we have to do it publicly, verbally. We have to do it because we've got to reclaim our voice. We have got to speak. We have got to say much about a lot, when it comes to our body and how we're living this life.
Well, and that's why I responded, because I was like, you know what? This man has other women in his life who he has made snap judgments about and is probably saying rude, mean things to them. And clearly they have not checked him and put him in his place. So that's how I ended it, after I let him know that I was on my 5-week period, because men also don't want to talk about periods. Like, that's where they go, So I was like, thanks. I'm glad you're keeping track of my pounds. I'll have you know, beep, 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 clackety, clackety, clack. And I was like, and by the way, don't do this to another woman. Like, I'm clear that there are women, I'm sure that there are women in your circle that you are talking about and have no idea that they are going through one of the worst silent battles of their lives. And yes, it is about self-advocacy. Elizabeth says, I had a coworker who was expecting, then miscarried. It was hard for her when new people commented, congratulations, not realizing her bump was still there, even though the baby wasn't. That was eye-opening. And Elizabeth, that's my sister Livy there. But this season was very eye-opening for me as well, because Aurelia, earlier you talked about postpartum. Well, one thing I didn't realize, because I have not experienced pregnancy loss, is that women who experience pregnancy loss sometimes experience postpartum as well, because you talked about the hormones moving up and down, and their bodies have been carrying this baby and their hormones are elevated and now they're suddenly dropping. And so they experience postpartum, but also they still look pregnant sometimes. And one of the other women who has experienced pregnancy loss discussed that as well. I'm telling you guys, we get into it in season 2. But again, we leave bigger, better, and stronger, just like these ladies, because they have faced all of this head on, and these are their stories. And so even with Sasha, you know, I find it very interesting, because the enemy is cunning and slick and strategic, but he ain't that good, because Sasha's voice is powerful, right? And she uses that voice to empower other people. Now, right before she got on stage, somebody said that to her and they probably didn't mean nothing by it, but that was to silence her, and it worked for a little bit. But sis got to get off this call because she has something else that she has to do, because she's speaking to the masses still. So boop, 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 we still get the victory. So if anybody would like to share, now is your time. Sharing. The power of testimony is incredible. And that's the thing, even for myself, once I started to look into what my body was going through and realizing that so many other women were also dealing with it, I didn't feel so alone, but like a weirdo or the odd man out, you know? Someone mentioned here, I think it was Janelle, about asking women when they want to have children, all that. How do you know that they're not trying? How do you know that they can? But also, who are you to define my womanhood? There's so much here. So yes, we are praying for you, Shantae, as well. Whew. Do you have anything else to add? Does anybody else in the group have anything to add to the conversation in the chat, or would you like to come up and speak? Now's your time to do so if you'd like to. All right. Well, up next, my friend Brianna Brown, her story. I mean, she lost her husband in 2018. She had a little one, new baby. And we're hard on each other. We like to put it on men, but we're hard on each other too, right? And it's the whole, you know, how soon is too soon to be dating? And girl, she dating again already. So she talks about it in this clip. But back to minding your business, right? Go ahead and roll the clip, please.
I'm young. I'm definitely gonna eventually, you know, date and hopefully remarry and things like that. I don't know, you know, the time frame on when that's okay or when that's not okay. I don't think it really is an okay or not okay type of thing. I think as long as I feel that I'm mentally ready to accept someone into my heart, then that's what, you know, that's what matters to me, not what other people's perception is. You know, some people may never marry again, even if they lost their spouse this young, you know, but some people may be married within the next year. It's all about you, your heart, and your partner that you found.
Yes. And yes.
Yes, and yes, and yes is correct.
Who are you? Right? And it's not that we want to be flippant, because once again, people only speak of out of their knowledge, right? What they've been trained, what they know. But the thing about grief is we're trying to navigate this new life. And working with my clients, you know, we talk about Warden's 4 tasks a morning. We talk about how we're really just trying to accomplish these new aspects of our life. And one of them is moving forward. And some of us, we can sometimes say, okay, that's when we know we're done grieving. I mean, that's relative, but that was last season, right? But there comes a point when your spouse dies that you will move forward. You may move forward solo, or you may move forward partnered. But either way, what's most important is that we move forward, right? That we put one foot in front of the other and we move forward. So what we need to do is applaud her, right? Applaud individuals who say, I'm going to try this again, knowing that I might risk losing you too, but I'm going to try this again, and I'm going to love again. Let's applaud those individuals instead of judging them or shaming them, right? And even
Also,
if she did in 3 months, I'm like, well, I'm applaud you, girl, because that means you got up off the floor and you're moving forward. So that's why we keep me muted, because I have lots to say and all things.
You have the mic for a reason and a license to back it up. So we've held the mics for a long time since we were children, but you also have the paperwork to back it up. The thing is, though, I don't have the paperwork to back it up. I just hold a lot of opinions, and my opinion is this: we don't judge men the same way. Men get divorced and they have a little girlfriend 2 weeks later, and we be like, well, he just going through something. But let his wife have a boyfriend or something, and we're like, oh, girl, are you sure she's sleeping around already? Yes, she's getting that. Oh, sis, and my mama's in here, but it is what it is.
That part.
We don't do that to men. You know,
and it's not fair. I'm that person.
It's not fair.
About fairness. Like, it's just not fair. So what we do, we fight with our faith that one day things will change.
Yeah.
And how it will change is when we stand in our truth and we say, this is who I am, and it's okay.
Yes. And it's okay. And it's not your business. It's mine. So if I decide I want to date again, as I'm grieving, I can. If I decide I want to date again after I'm divorced, I can. There's grief associated with divorce as well, you know.
And the thing is, and here's the thing: if you are concerned, and it is now I'm being serious, if you are concerned about someone moving too fast in any decision, because we always encourage our clients at the Grief Center, give yourself about a year before you make any major decisions, right? Going on a date is not necessarily a major decision. However, know thyself. So if you're in a grief space that everything is triggering for you, even a very nice man is going to be could be triggering for you, because that nice gesture, you may think about your husband who used to do that for you, and then you have a complete meltdown, right?
Yeah.
So in all seriousness, it's about know yourself. And so if you're concerned about someone who's moving too fast, then just kindly and gently say, hey, I'm just wondering, how's your grief growing? And then let it be from a place of actual concern, and then you can have a conversation instead of just jumping to, ooh, girl, what you doing? That's too much. You doing too much too soon. Because it is real. It is real that sometimes we move too fast after, a loss. However, be compassionate with your care, right?
Yes.
Sometimes we don't really do that.
Well, we also, you said, how's your grief growing? And that's a way of putting it that is thoughtful. And also, there's a difference in someone running their mouth. And yes, I said mouth with an F because that's what it is. And having a conversation with a friend or a cousin and being like, okay, girl, because even after some breakups, like, you go into your little hotation or whatever, and your friend's like, okay, go girl, back it up. And then they like, all right, come on, reel that in. Now we got to really sit in this. What are you doing? And so some of those conversations happen out of relationship and not, petty,
and that's important. That's key. It's about relationship. It's all about relationship.
Yes. And so
social media, we not relating. Like we're not like, so let me just, and so girl, let me stop. Social media is a whole other conversation. Season 3, social media.
Well, social media is a big part of what we do.
It is, but we're gonna tame it. We're gonna tame it in the name of
Jesus. But while we at it, make sure you do subscribe to the YouTube channel, because the new season is coming here in a few weeks. That is Charity Bailey. And make sure that you are following us on Twitter and Instagram as well. As we pull up on this last clip from Kendra. Now, Kendra and I experienced in a very different way, but in the same space. In 2008, when the recession happened, a lot of people lost a lot of things. And she was one of them. And we identify very well and connected over the fact that we both experienced being mad with God. You know, when I lost everything in 2008, I was laid off as I was working as a reporter in Chico, California, and our business got ravaged, just like everybody else's. Everything fell apart, and my credit fell out the window. It was bad. Yes. I blamed God, though. Yes. I didn't have a spouse to blame, and I was mad at God. Were you mad at God at any point?
Yes. So you only asked me about my husband. I get mad at both of these men in my life. I was mad. I was more mad at God because it was, you know, I don't think I ever phrased it this way, but the feeling that I had was I thought you had my back. I thought like I prayed about every part of this decision. I was always leery of going into business with friends because I didn't want it to ruin the friendship. And I remember praying, I'm like, God, if we don't need to be moving forward with this, if this is not what you want us to do, then I won't do it. Like, I don't need this. Like, I don't need this. But I just feel like this is a passion and a desire that we have. And so I want to do it if it's your will for us to do it. So we proceeded, we moved forward like we thought. And so I was extremely angry with God about how everything unfolded.
Ooh, Aurelia. That is definitely a big one, especially when you have the best of intentions for yourself and the people around you. She was trying to build wealth for herself, her family, and her friends. And it all went down the drain. So what happens when good intentions go bad?
They go bad. Sometimes we just don't hit the target that we're aiming for, right? And this is when we become mature ladies. This is when we become, we you know, iron sharpens iron. Well, sometimes we've got to be chiseled, right? And I'm not saying that we need things to go bad in order for this to happen, but this is how sometimes we're able to build that resilience. We're able to understand a little bit more about the way the world works. We don't always have the answers. And so I like what she said about, so this is my other hat, right? So my pastor hat, when she says, God can handle me being mad, and, you know, at God. Yes, God can. If we are of, excuse me, if we are of the Judeo-Christian faith, we understand that God is a big God. God is almighty. So that means God is ginormous. And so our little, you know, tiff with God, God's like, okay, I'm here. I can take it. And when you're done, we gonna fix it.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I think some of it too is the fact that I know for myself, I can only speak for me, is that when everything fell apart, I was so mad because I'm like, I did everything right. I worked in the NBA. I wasn't chasing men around. I wasn't, you know, doing all the things that everybody else was doing. And here I am, like, everybody, my nickname was Church Girl. Like, now everybody's watching and everything's falling apart. If anything, but that's performance-based faith that we're taught, which is like, and we learn about that later. And I felt bad that I was mad with God, but also because of the way some people responded to me was like, just keep praying about it. I'm like, listen, I'm praying about it and everything continues to fall apart. Like, I'm in the pit. Like, and then you feel guilty. And because you're mad at God, there's a sense of shame because, like, you know, I'm the Christian and all this fell apart. But it's because of that performance-based faith that we're taught that's like, well, I must have done something wrong. When really I did everything right. So now I'm mad and I feel like I have a reason to be mad.
Right. And you know what? You probably do. God is a relational God. Like, yes, in this performance faith that we have, we perform, God blesses. God performs, we receive. It's a relationship. So even though, you know, I did everything right, God is like, let's have a conversation. Let's talk. Let's go to coffee. Let's have tea. Let's go by the water. Let's veg out on the couch together. Let's have a relationship and let's talk about it.
Yeah. And let's stop teaching performance-based faith too.
I mean, seriously, but And in most religions, it's important that we remember relationship with the spirit. We have relationship with our higher power. Relationship. Let's not always seek. And I appreciate her because she owned her anger.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's that this is not fair. I mean, you think of Jeremiah, you think of Job, those in the Bible. Like, I even think of Mother Teresa. I even think of Gandhi and the way that they experienced their faith, not always high on the mountaintop, but knowing that it's about relationship. And if we can get to a place of relating with God, we might be more okay with being angry with God and not feeling guilty.
Gotcha. Oh, I will say, the valley is where some of the greatest lessons have been learned. And so even now, this show itself was birthed out of my grief. Did I want to experience losing my dad? No. Did I like the grief associated with it and the emotions and the pulling apart and the tearing down? No. Yeah. But the rebuilding has birthed this project. It has birthed some other beautiful things in my life. The woman that you see before you was birthed out of that pain. There was purpose in it. So it is okay to grieve those spaces. And I just want to make that clear.
Well, it is, because a loss is a loss. Like we have this tendency to put a value on everything and a hierarchy on everything. Loss is still loss. And so we have to grieve any loss, because one loss it's not just that loss, but one loss can create another loss, then create another loss that we have to then reconcile what it all means. Right?
Yeah.
And so loss is loss. And so if we can implement how we get over a human body loss, like a death, then if we can implement some of those tasks of mourning when we lose other things, we might see, oh, okay, I'm going through a process. It's a journey. Even something like financial loss, right?
Yeah. And we grieve that former life that those finances provided as well. Now, Sister Janice is here, my mama. She says, eventually we learned that it's true that God causes all things to work together for our good. We realize that as time goes on. Performance-based faith is just an external show for others. We need a relationship with Him. When you're down in the valley, we can sometimes look up. And sometimes that rock bottom, which was my experience, was where I was like, that's what brought me to Oakland. Because I was like, well, I'm in the pit over here, and I can't go no lower. I'm already in the pit. So, all right, like this next move got to be my best move because I'm already down here. So whatever. While we're on the topic of grief, I was going to open it up to everybody anyway because we're winding down our time here. But Tawana says, can we talk about what grief looks like?
Tawana, I was getting ready to share my screen with one of my handouts I give to my clients.
She says, I don't always get sad.
Correct. You're not. So for the sake of time, I won't go into all things, but I think even after that session, have an IG live. I mean, if the spirit so leads, if you have time for that, but grief looks different for everyone and every situation. So grief can look like symptoms of anxiety. Grief can look like symptoms of depression, right? Grief can look like symptoms of mania, meaning a sense of hyperness and activity. So grief can look like a lot of things. Even if a person is having their best life ever, they very well still could be grieving. Always thinking of the person, having conversations with the person, not, being terrified to go in a space where the person occupied, not accepting that the person is gone. If we're talking about death, or even if it was financial, not accepting that you no longer have that job or have, the identity that came with that job. So grief can look like many things. And so I always advise people, if you have experienced a loss, go go to counseling to process it. Go to a grief counselor for, for a relationship loss through death. Go to a regular counselor for other types of loss that you're grieving, and you need to process it. You need to process it. You need to get to a place where you're back to your baseline. If you say to yourself, I just don't feel right. I don't feel like myself. That's when I say, time to check in with the professionals, whether it's clergy, your primary care physician, your, nutritionist, whomever. Time to check in to see what's happening, what's going on.
Yeah. And Tawana does say that she works herself hard. Tawana, I'd encourage you, if you have not watched season 1, and actually, even if you have, because I mean, the team and I, we taped it. We were there in the thick of it, and still go back and watch it. And there's different gems that we still pick up. My mother shared in her episode as well, but she shared here in the chat that she didn't cry at all when my grandmother passed away. And that was at 8.5 months. Everybody moves through the process of grief so different. And Miss J. Tate Eugenia, who is my therapist, put it so eloquently when she said that, there's no wrong way to do it. So if you are just, zoning out and working, that's just your way of dealing with your grief, by not dealing with it, so that you can move through your world the way that you need to. But yes, season 1 is there. It's actually in podcast form as well. So wherever you receive wherever you listen to your podcast, Spotify, Google Play, Apple Music, all of the above, it's there for you to listen to. But also, it is on our YouTube channel as well. Oh goodness, we could be here for hours having this conversation, because also y'all are a good group. You're so open to the process, and
good group.
I appreciate it. Yeah. So before we do wrap up, is there anything anybody else would like to add? I know some of you sent questions when you registered for the event, and we can also pull a few of those over time. But this was needed. And I appreciate all of you for sharing your heart. I appreciate you for being a part of my village, for being my backbone, for being our voice, right? Because if we don't do this, we're going to fall apart. And I don't want us to continue to fall apart. My heart is heavy. I'm going to share this with you guys. I spoke to one of my longtime friends yesterday. Her daughter died by suicide over the summer. And on her daughter's birthday, her girlfriend died the same way. I don't want to lose another child, sister, or friend to suicide. If you need somebody or something, I want you to step out of the shadows and tap in. I'm not always the best at checking my DMs and my messages. I'm all over the place sometimes. Tap in with somebody that you trust, a therapist, a pastor, a coach, a friend. If you can't get to me, text the DMs and the girl we need to talk. I do not want to lose another one of us. Our babies are under attack. Our children, especially Black and brown girls, are taking their lives at alarming rates because they feel like they have nowhere to go. And even when they have somewhere to go, they're scared. I want to break that spirit in the name of Jesus moving forward. I know I talk wild and I drink and I cuss and I fuss, but I know who my God is. I lost my uncle to suicide. It ravages a family. It hurts. And so now I have a friend who's now laid her daughter to rest and has now laid her daughter's girlfriend to rest because these babies don't know what to do or how to cope. And as women, we need to show them what coping looks like. That it is okay to fall apart, that it is okay to sit in the silence. I was getting dressed this morning, trying to put my makeup on, and it's rolling off my face because I don't know what else to do. So I'm encouraging y'all to share. I'm sharing with you. My heart is heavy. I don't want us to continue to be depressed and to be sad and to be unhappy and to be broken. We don't have to be. There are resources. There are people who love you. I love you. I know most of you in here individually. If you feel alone, you don't have to go at this life alone. You don't. We will continue to provide resources on our platform. The suicide prevention Lifeline is here. We actually talk about suicide and prevention in season 2 as well. I mean, we run the gamut. We talk postpartum. We talk, reproductive conditions. We talk grief, especially surrounding Brianna's late husband. We talk financial loss. We talk suicide. And the hotline is 24/7. It is 800-273-8255. 800-273-TALK. Girl, we need to talk. And the more we talk, the more we free each other, the more we surround each other, the more we love on each other, the more we provide the space, the more we can continue to live life and live it abundantly. I just had to share that because I'm asking y'all to share. And that's been heavy on my heart today. I just needed to get through this because I knew once I said it, I was going to fall apart. We gotta get this thing right, especially for ourselves first and for our babies, because they are taking their own lives at alarming rates. And if we want them to become bigger, better, stronger, like we're trying to become, I want them to get it earlier than we did, right? I'm getting it now at 40. I want our babies to get it earlier, and I want the younger women to get it earlier than we did. And so that's what we're here for. So yes, Tawana, my PR will reach out to you. I want you to come apart, come undone. Find a therapist. There are some good therapists here in Phoenix as well. Lean into your community, your village, your tribe. I am who I am today because of my community first, my tribe, and my village that I have created in different parts of the country, and y'all are part of that. Another very big part of my village are the beautiful women, not only in the space, but the entrepreneurs in the space. So I want to take the time, first of all, to say thank you to Aurelia. Thank you so much for being my friend and confidant and cousin, but thank you for your wisdom and your knowledge. At one point, I was like, if you go to school one more time, but this is why you went to school for all the time.
This is why. I knew that I would need to go to school just for this day. And
She got 1 million degrees.
Lord.
They all serve her very well. So thank you so much. Thank you for joining us on season 2. You dropped so many gems and dimes there. We will continue to do How's Your Heart as another caveat on social media. So I hope that you guys are able to join us there. We feature different women, sometimes from the season, sometimes women who also have similar stories, just so because we can't get to everybody. We have 8 episodes and we're a small team, trying to present a passion project on a very tight budget, but we're making it happen. And that's because all of you are supporting us and we appreciate you. So thank you, Aurelia. A big thank you to Moonchild Yogi for leading us through that meditation. And thank you so much to our sponsors. Christy won the first prize. And that was from Muse, Tease prints. She will win 2 designs, I believe. Yes, 2 prints from Muse, Tease prints. Up next, my very good friend, Amber Wright, wrote a book called Can We Talk? It's 10 life lessons, finding your voice and finding yourself, by the one and only Amber Wright. She is words well said. So she also has cards. They're Can We Talk cards. And she has them for kids, for people in relationships, and just everyday communication. They will really, really, really help you have better communication and understanding of one another. So that gift will go to the book, Can We Talk by Amber Wright, will go to our participant who followed one of our pages first here today. And I'm not sure if we have those names yet or if we'll be reaching out to you later to let you know. Let me just double check here. All right. Hey, here we are. Okay, so our first social participant is Miriam. Miriam, are you here? You will win the book, Can We Talk? It's a great book. Amber wrote it a couple of years ago, and she's a communications expert, so she'll get you on the right track for sure. Our next prize goes to our participant from Kouassi Kustoms. She put together the prizes are African waist beads, natural black soap, incense tower with incense, and shea butter. Now, I have used her shea butter, and that shea butter is a bomb, child. Y'all know I like to keep my skin nice and smooth. So that gift will go to, let me just look here. Shantae. Yes. So thank you for participating in the conversation, and we will make sure that you get your gift as well. And the third gift is from MHO Beauty. It's shampoo, conditioner, and skin oil. I also use that as well, child. Should get your edges right, because you know I be struggling with my edges. And that will go to Suma. Suma, you win a shampoo set and it's a shampoo and conditioner set and a skin oil from MHO Beauty. So thank you so much for all of your participation, ladies. On that note, we will go ahead and spin the wheel, because this next prize is a self-care box, and it is full of so many goodies that Social Roots LLC put together. They have a fall box, I believe, and a winter box. They put together a Valentine's Day box, and it just features a bunch of different products from several different Black-owned companies, Black women-owned companies at that. All right, so let's spin it. Woo! Hey! Tina Livingston, that is my god sister, my big sister. Tina, you will receive the self-care box from Social Roots. Self-care is so big, and so we want to encourage all of you to continue to take care of yourselves. And again, Social Roots put that box together to not only help you take care of yourself, but to showcase other businesses. It's a collaborative effort. And Social Roots is also, they are hosting 2 upcoming events. One is called Attitude. I'll be hosting that one. That one is a mental health. It's a mental health day. You know, Black women come together into the space and we just woo-saw. And then they're hosting another event in May of 2022 called Zen to Amen. And that is a retreat in St. Lucia. And we're going to have a good old time, child. I think there's only like 3 rooms left. And we're just going to come together and get better together. So with all of that said, thank you so much for taking the time to join us on this afternoon to celebrate season 2 of Girl We Need to Talk. Again, follow us on Instagram and Twitter. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel so that when we do drop on October 20th, you will be there to watch, listen, share, and learn. Thank you for hearing our stories. Thank you for being a part of our stories. And thank you for sharing your own. With that said, if you have a little something in your hand, I have my tea here and my cute little mug that Rakia sent me last year. Cheers, ladies. Be great. I love you. Take care of yourselves and each other. I'll see you later.
She's just a girl and she's on fire.